Considering the sexy scenes he's read, totally 18 plus. Don't you know who you're talking to?
Daddy. Strength to hold in what is trying to get out. Okay. Temptation.
He lowers himself down between my legs and watches me closely as he pushes himself inside me. I cry out, moaning with pleasure, uncaring how feral and out of control I sound. Kyle moves slowly at first, kissing me so softly that I feel like I might explode. Then he pulls back and slams into me hard.
I shall save you all from spiders. I'm an expert trapper and releaser. That's so sweet that you release them. I murder them.
Hello. Good evening. Welcome to 2024. You never will understand, Stepmama's mama. It's good to see you. Welcome to 2024, first stream of the year. Brand new book, new screens, just a whole lot of new. A whole lot of new. And I'm happy to share it with you. I've been itching to get back into a book, so I'm glad tonight's the night. Okay? I am super glad. Of course, we have a new puzzle. Why not? Still has a slight Christmas theme. Just ever so slight. Okay? But yeah. So that's there. Amlas is here. I know your internet's not doing well, but welcome anyway. Stepmama's mama, of course. It's wonderful to see you. And Mr. Redthorn. Hello, sir. How's the little one? Is she doing okay? I have some hot chocolate. It was a hot chocolate kind of night. I gotta turn the music down in my head just a touch. Otherwise I can't hear myself think. Yeah, she had a little bit of a stomach bug at the beginning of the week, but hey, no pneumonia. I'm glad to hear it's progressing in the right direction. That's a good thing. So, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for the update. That's no Ohio State reformatory chocolate drink, but it'll do. Alright, so yes, we have a brand new book. I've been itching to get into this. I have not cracked it open. I'm gonna read the back again, just to give all of us, myself included, a refresher on what it is we're diving into. And then we're just gonna jump right in. I hope that's okay. Exclamation point honest if you want to see this book for yourself. This is a part 1, as it says right here. We will not be reading part 2 or 3, just because parts 2 and 3 have some SA in them. I'm told it's not a lot, and it's not intense by any means, but still, I don't want that in my stream. So that is my new policy going forward, in case that I didn't share that at one point. I talk about these things with myself, but I should mention them in stream. Anytime I'm reviewing a book now for stream, if there's any SA, I'm not going to read it. Now, a friend of mine, as I say that before we get into this, a friend of mine is writing a book right now. And, thank you. Stop, Mama. She has CNC in it, I believe it's called, which is consent, non-consent. Basically meaning that there's going to be some storyline that looks like it's non-consensual, but it really is. So, CNC, I'm allowing. I'm still going to put up an alert to say that it's there, but if it's strictly like SA in any way, shape, or form, it's not being part of my stream anymore. And to that end, and I'll say this to all future authors that I kind of interview, so to speak, if they're like, yeah, you're good, there's nothing in there, and then we're like 4 chapters in or 20 chapters in, we could be at the last chapter, we could be in the middle, it doesn't matter. If I suddenly come across some SA that they're like, oh, sorry, we're just done. The book is over and we're moving on. So the reason I'm doing that is because I care about you guys. Okay? There is no reason to bring that into the stream. There's too many people I know that have dealt with that topic. So it is important to me to look after you when you're here. You're choosing to spend your time with me, whether you're lurking or being active, it doesn't matter. You're choosing to be here. And the way I can help honor that is by doing my best to take care of you. And in one of those ways, it's removing, as best as I can, to my knowledge, any SA content. Okay? So that is my spiel for 2024. Just wanted to get that out there. Makes sense? Yes. And again, so with this book, I asked the lady that I've been chatting with about this book. I asked probably 3 or 4 times, is there any of that in here? She said no. It's only in parts 2 and 3. So we'll be reading part 1. And if you want to read part 2 or part 3 on your own, you are more than welcome to do so. Go for it. Exclamation point honest for this author and his work. So there you go. Spiel over. All right, let's move on. All right. This is my reading screen. Another new screen. Love it. I'm going to read the back of the book, and then we're going to dive into the first chapter. So, here's the synopsis. You consider yourself thoroughly spieled? Excellent. Then my job here is done. So here's the back. Donnie was born with a golden spoon in his mouth. His life has been nothing but perfect. Until that day. When a stranger walks into his life and turns it upside down. In a few weeks, Donnie's life transforms to be chaotic and unpredictable. Find out what happens to him and how he ends up living on the side of the road after living in mansions. What is the secret his sister had been carrying on her shoulders? Why was his mother murdered? A shocking twist throws everything into question, leaving the reader to wonder who they can trust. With non-stop action and a plot full of twists and turns, this mystery crime book will keep you guessing until the very end. So there you go, there's the back. And look who's here. Hi. Hi, Manji. It's good to see you. You're just in time. We just did the back of the book. I'm cracking it open for the first time, flexing the pages. It's a very nice little font there. I almost forgot what that was called. Got some copyrights. We've got a dedication, which I'll let you guys read on your own. Ooh, and this one has a table of contents, something we haven't seen in books in quite a while. No, you didn't miss anything. I just did an announcement, if you will, about my plans or how I'm going to conduct books for the year, or just period. But we haven't missed anything of the book. So we haven't had a book with a table of contents in ages. So it's kind of nice to get one. Let's see. Looks like we have 19 chapters plus the introduction. Plush? Yes. Yes, indeed. Plus the introduction. Okay. So we're going to get into the introduction, and we'll see where it goes. So, Manji, I don't know if I mentioned this to you before in our other discussions, but I never read ahead, so I have no idea what's going to happen. And also, as you can see kind of above me over here, there's a puzzle. So if you want to do an online puzzle, you can. To get the link for it, it's a community-based game. You just type in !puzzle. It'll give you a link. That'll open up in a new browser, and off you go. It's optional. You don't have to do it. All right. Page 5. There's totally no puzzle. Yes, that's because Stunt Mama wants it all for herself. Okay. Introduction. In a world where money and power often hold sway, Donnie's life is turned upside down when he meets Mike. Donnie was living the life of the wealthy and successful lawyer until a tragedy strikes and he eventually ends up losing everything overnight, thrown into prison and cut off from the life he knew. But as he delves deeper, he discovers that he only scratched the surface, and what he knew about his life was only the tip of the iceberg. He also uncovers secrets about his family, including a shocking revelation about his father and his own childhood that his mother and sister had kept hidden from him. Faced with a series of setbacks and challenges, Donnie must draw on all his strength and determination to overcome the odds and emerge victorious. This is the story of one man's journey through the darkest depths of despair. It is a tale of the inevitable human spirit. So, let's begin the journey with Donnie as he fights for his freedom and his life, while also uncovering the truth about his past. Happy reading. It's a pretty cool introduction. Ooh, here's something we don't see very often either. Check this out. There's a cool little black and white. Very dapper. And I can't forget, I have some lovely hot chocolate. Back with internet for now. We shall see audio only. Well, I hope you're not seeing the audio. If you are, you should get that looked at by a doctor. But I knew what you meant. It's fine. All right, Chapter 1, page 6. Chapter 1 is simply called Donnie Jackson. The traffic was moderately crowded in LA. A few cars were here and there, going at the same pace on the highway, like the scattered clouds in the sky, except for Donnie's McLaren. Donnie grinned as he zoomed down the highway, his McLaren purring beneath him. He loved the feeling of power and speed as he accelerated, leaving the other cars in his wake. As he swerved in and out of traffic, he couldn't help but feel a sense of exhilaration. He was the coolest guy on the road, and he knew it. But as he sped up, he suddenly realized that everyone else was driving at a snail's pace. He swore under his breath, annoyed at their lack of speed. He had places to be and people to see, and he didn't have time to waste on these slowpokes. With a determined look on his face, Donnie pulled his car alongside the other vehicles and began to weave his way through the traffic, using his speed and agility to his advantage. He grinned as he saw the looks of awe and admiration on the faces of the other drivers, and he knew that he was the envy of everyone on the road. As he finally reached the open road, Donnie pushed the pedal to the metal, letting the McLaren roar as it shot forward. He felt the wind rushing through his hair and the world flying by, and he knew that this was the life he was meant to live. He was unstoppable, untouchable, and above all, he was cool. Fucking cunts, Donnie whispered as he sped up in between cars like the sun ray between those slow-moving clouds. For him, every second wasted behind a slowly moving car is a loss of money. He doesn't want to lose the empire his father left to him after his mysterious disappearance 21 years ago, when he was only a kid of 10 years. Language, sir? If it's printed, I'm reading it. Besides, I believe I have a clip of you somewhere being quite vulgar on your stream, ma'am. Would you like me to find it? And play it. His mother, Catherine, made sure that she carried on the legacy of being from a wealthy family, married a wealthy man, and continued to increase their wealth until Donnie was able to take the baton and run with it. No, don't show it. I don't know why you would assume I would. I am an upstanding gentleman. Most of the time. That's her other screen name, Potty Mouth Mama. He finally arrived at his destination and pulled up in front of a big building. He stepped on the accelerator pedal a couple of times, and the car made a roaring sound showing off its power. He noticed the valet running toward him. Not a familiar face. He got out of the car, buttoned his jacket, and took a couple of deep breaths as he looked at the glass building with satisfaction, as if he was checking what he owned. He leaned back in and picked up his briefcase. Good morning, sir. I will take care of it. Are you new here, kid? Where's Cisco? He's inside, sir. It's my turn, said the valet boy nervously. His heart was about to jump out of his chest. Everything in his life had been calculated and predicted. He didn't like unpredictability. His mother made sure that his life followed a certain path, and he continued doing that. No, no, no. I said Cisco. With his hand firmly holding onto the still open door, Donnie said in an affirmative voice. He hated repeating himself. Nobody drives my car but him, so run back and get him. Before he, the new kid, had the chance to reply, Cisco pushed open the front glass door of the building entrance and came out running towards Donnie's car. I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson. Sorry, so sorry, he kept saying as he jumped in the car and drove off. Donnie started walking towards the entrance. He greeted a few people on his way to the elevator only by nodding his head or providing a smile. He didn't have to talk when he could only show his handsome face and let his facial expressions do the work for him. He kept adjusting his tie before he pushed the button to the last floor. He gave one last look to the people who waited for the next elevator. After all, they knew the rule not to get in the elevator with the owner of the building. Wow, this guy's a real joy to be around. His life had been controlled by rules. Some were set by him, but most set by his mother. The time he was allowed to stay up, his choice of friends, there were rules at the dinner table. As he grew older, it had become more difficult for him to live his life without rules. He started setting himself up for those kinds of rules until rules finally ruled his life. It's a lot of ruling with the rules. As the elevator moved up, he turned around and looked at himself in the mirror. He checked his hair and touched the sides of his head. He made sure there was nothing that should not have been there on his shoulders. He continued to do that until he heard the cling sound of the last level. And here we have a pretty cool picture of said building. Kind of reminds me of something you'd see in New York. Hey, forget about it. The elevator door opened, and the noise of the talking people overshadowed the elevator's classical music. He continued to walk between the scattered desks and offices. Many people stopped doing what they were doing just to say the morning greeting to him as he was pacing to his office. He unlocked the door and walked into his office. Nobody was allowed to use that door except him. His office was empty except for a big desk against the glass window behind it, a desk chair, and one smaller leather chair on the opposite side. He walked to his black, shiny desk, where there was nothing but a laptop. He took a quick glimpse of the view out of the window and smiled at the world as if he owned it. He put the briefcase in the drawer and sat down. Not long before the front slide door of the office opened, and Rachel entered the office holding a big folder. "Good morning, sir." "Hi, Rachel. Everything ready?" he asked as he opened the folder and started looking at a few pages inside. Rachel was a trusted secretary of his. She had been working for him for nearly 4 years. She was active, the first to arrive and the last to leave, highly organized. Donnie trusted her with all his work secrets. She did not only know about the lawyer business, but she also knew about the family firm in general. She wore formal clothes all the time, a dark-colored dress that matched her brown eyes and fair skin. It ended just above her knees, which showed her skinny legs. Rachel sat on the chair on the other side of the desk. She put one leg over the other to support the big folder she was carrying. "I had to terminate our contract with One Stop Company. They have not paid our retaining fees for the last 2 months. That's about $40,000. Sally has already filed a case for late fees, which should get us the late fees plus penalties. $42,376, he said without lifting his eyes off the paper. "Well, yes. And what have you decided about Franco? It's a difficult case. Too many witnesses saw him beat up that guy at the bar." "The governor's nephew? Give it to me, Emily. Give it to Emily. She'll take care of it. Tell her to dig up dirt on the dead guy. A drunk 50-year-old man alone at a bar making random remarks. He must have had something in his pockets that would sway the case towards Franco. We can't get him out of prison, We just need to get him 3 years, max. Oh, look at you guys getting all the sides done. Good job. Rachel kept flipping the pages back and forth, mumbling. I think that's it. Then lifted her face. Oh, and Natalie's case, of course. That's next week. Suddenly, his facial expressions changed, and he looked down at the desk. I'll take care of that. By the way, there's someone in my office who wouldn't talk to anyone but you. Judging by the stone on her finger, she looks loaded. What's her name? Selena Dankworth. Donnie lowered the paper down and looked at Rachel. Addison's wife? They do have the same last name. Isn't he the one who owns the furniture shops? Looking more intrigued, Donnie put the folder down on the desk. He doesn't just own shops. He has factories for almost everything. Bring her in about 30 minutes. Rachel got up and left through the front slide door. Donnie closed the folder. He got up and walked to his office bathroom. He stood in front of the mirror, checked his hair in all directions, touched his face to make sure he was clean-shaven, touched his eyebrows with one finger, and raised his head to make sure his nose was clean-shaven. Shouldn't you do that at home? Just saying. Anyway, he then took a few steps back and glanced at himself through a panoramic view. He saw nothing but what he thought was a picture of perfection. He picked up his phone from his pocket and noticed the 2 missed calls, different phone numbers that he did not recognize, and 2 voicemails. He unlocked his phone, clicked on the call logs, and blocked those numbers. He dialed a number as he walked back to his desk. He heard the ringing tone as he sat down. Then he heard the manly voice that came across the phone. Smoking had taken its toll on this voice. Hey, doll. Hey, Mom. I didn't see you this morning. You had already left. Donnie's mother was a slim and tall woman in her 50s with gray hair. She chain-smoked all the time. It was well known that she could be found outside if she disappeared from a meeting. She filled up her time taking care of the charity her husband had left her after Donnie took over matters of the company. She was never a woman that was alone. Her charm overshadowed the wrinkles on her face. Her husband's fortune made her famous amongst the California high class that had similar amounts of money. She was tough, did not accept mistakes, and pushed for flawlessness in every aspect of her life, including her son. Oh, yes, doll, charity stuff. You okay? Yeah, I'm great, he said as he opened the folder and started looking at the pages again. Don't forget, we're having dinner with the Gellers tomorrow. Sandy will be there. How's work? You have court today, right? Yes, Mom, I'll be there. Gotta go. Talk later. Love ya. Then he looked at his phone again, searched for Rachel's phone number, and sent a text that said, "Bring her in 27 mins." He put the phone down on the desk, put his hands behind. Whoa. That was loud. Purple subscribed to Tier 2 for 23 months. My goodness, Purple, I don't deserve you. That is insane. And you scared me. Thank you for doing that. I owe 10 more to the count. I have a lot of push-ups to do. Okay. Actually, Red, I don't want to lose my spot on the page. Do you mind changing the count from 42 to 52, please, if you can? I'd appreciate it. Thank you, Purple. You really don't have to do this tier 2 stuff, okay? You are a precious being regardless, but it warms my heart. Thank you, Red. After my first chapter here, I will get down on the floor and do some of those push-ups. Otherwise, they're going to stack up. And we don't want that now, do we? Alright, where was I? We're on page 17, by the way.
Yup, that tasted purple.
It did taste a little purple. Nothing wrong with it. He put the phone down on the desk, put his hands behind his head, leaned back on his chair, and closed his eyes. After exactly 27 minutes, Rachel opened the front slide door and stepped aside. Selena entered the office, wearing a short black dress that was almost inappropriate for a daytime official lawyer visit. Her hair leaves nothing to the imagination to the price she paid to have it done. Blonde and pulled back, the jewelry around her neck and wrist reflected the big check that was handed over to the shop when it was bought. Hi, Selena Dankworth. Donnie Jackson, please have a seat. Wait, who is this talking? Oh, never mind, I got it. I am Maggie's friend, Maggie Bestow. She sent me. You're the best in the business, I heard. I hope you think the same, but judging by the looks of your empty desk, I already have my doubts, she said with a sassy sarcasm on her face. It's not the desk, Mrs. Dankworth. It's who's sitting behind it. I'm not a traditional lawyer. I have everything I need on my laptop. It's easier to carry and more organized. So, what can I do you for? Asked Donnie as he leaned back in his chair. Well, my husband is suing me. He is claiming that I threw a vase at him. I am countersuing him for half of what he owns. I want a divorce. Is this really how the rich act? You threw something at me, so I'm suing you for half of everything? Seems a little over the top. Just my opinion. Anyway. After a short pause, Donnie studied her body language. She was rubbing her fingers. She was nervous and was about to lie. She then reached out for her necklace. It was a sign that she feared losing the lifestyle she had. Well? She asked with her eyes wide open. She was getting impatient. Did you throw a vase at him? I might have done it. I don't know. The stubborn, defensive look on her face confirmed the accusation in Donnie's mind. Mrs. Dankworth, Selena, if you want me to represent your case personally, please understand I don't take straightforward cases. If you've done it, I would. If you hadn't, I wouldn't. And any lawyer in my office can represent and win the case for you. Also, one more thing. You need to tell me everything. Judging by how the conversation is going, you might not be. After a brief pause, Selena looked down at her purse and said in a quiet voice, Well, there's a video on the house security camera of me throwing the vase. He also went to the hospital shortly after. Oh, so she hit her target. That's good. Donnie leaned forward on his desk and grabbed a pen. He started fiddling with it. After a minute of silence, he leaned back, looked Selena in the eye, and spoke. Do you have a phobia of anything? Phobia? She replied with an expressionless face. Phobia? Fear of something? I know what phobia is, she said with an offended voice. I just don't see how that's relevant to anything I am telling you. I don't like heights, if that's what you mean. Spiders? Oh, I hate spiders. I think we're getting off track here. Do you have a pet? After giving a big sigh, I have a cat. Excellent. Okay, this is how it's going to work. I will take the case. I will take 10% of what you get from your husband. Half before I start, and half when we win the case. You will need a psychological evaluation. A doctor that I will recommend. I will need a list of your friends and family. This will be a high-profile case. It will cost you a lot, money and time-wise. I will have to get a consultant to choose the jurors. In addition, I will hire a tech expert to extract all the text messages you had sent on your phone, including social media. You want me to pay $4 million now? He gave her a small smile. Did Maggie tell you what she paid and what I did for her? Your case is much harder, Selena. What makes you think we're going to win? He chuckled. It's easy. I want the other $4 million. More importantly, I've never lost a case. Ever. That means more to me than any other amount you can pay me. If you'd like to proceed, Rachel will give you all the necessary documents on your way out. You can have a look, think, sign them, and bring them back whenever you want. The faster, the better. Selena gave him a suspicious look. She stood up and walked back towards the door she had come through. Donnie picked up his phone and texted Rachel. High profile, meeting in 10. He leaned back in his chair, turned around to have another glimpse at the city below, and gave the world another smile. He stayed in this position for 10 minutes, and then got up, put his phone in his pocket, picked up his briefcase, and walked to the sliding door on the right side of his office. The door led to a spacious room with a big wooden table. 6 chairs were arranged around the big mahogany table. All were filled with people, but the one next to the chair toward the end, where Donnie sat. He greeted everybody, picked up his laptop from the briefcase, and started a new document. We have a high-profile case. The Dankworth case. We have to prove that she was emotionally and mentally abused. She needs to divorce her husband. I want a psychological evaluation. Sally, you can take care of that. I want her to be a part of the Me Too movement. Mark, I want you to contact Dr. Campbell. Get an appointment to assess her fear of spiders. Emily, I need you to be available on juror selection day. Young, mainly females. Keep that in the back of your mind. Rachel walked in holding a bunch of papers. She sat down in a hurry on the chair next to Donnie. What did I miss? We were just talking about the Dankworth case, Sally said as she was scribbling something down on a piece of paper. She hasn't even signed the retention paper, Rachel said as she was adjusting her chair and looking at everybody at the table. Everybody stopped writing and looked up. All eyes turned to Donnie. She will, he said with a snarky smile on his face. Then he got up and walked back toward the door that led back to his office. Get to work. We're late for court. Let's go, people. It's almost 8. As he entered his office and shut the door behind him, he turned around and then he froze. A man was sitting on the chair in front of his desk. "Can I help you, sir? How did you get in here?" The man didn't say a word. Instead, he kept looking down at the rings on his hands. Donnie walked slowly towards his chair as his neck kept turning, trying to get a glimpse of the man's face, apprehensive of what was going on. That was unpredictable, and that made him extremely uncomfortable. The cowboy hat was obscuring his line of vision. "Sir, if you need my service, you first need to get an appointment. My secretary will be able to help you with that." "I'm not here for your services, Donnie." The muffled voice sent shivers down Donnie's spine, but at least he could get a foretaste of this man's face. He looked the same age as Donnie. He wore a shirt. His chest was wide open, showing his necklace that held a sword or a knife of some sort. His hands contained 3 or 4 rings each. The denim pants were worn off and hid the big cowboy boots underneath. "Sir?" Now Donnie was able to get to his chair, still surprised that the stranger was able to... What? Why am I hearing the alerts like they're echoing? That is very peculiar. "Stunt Papa, 26 months. Holy bucket, a brand new book." That's right. New book, new screens, new year, new rules. It's a whole lot of new. Thank you for your resubscribe. I am honored, my guy. New rules, you say? That's right. Once I finish this chapter, I will, I'll do a quick refresh on the rules. Is that 57 now? It will be. Yes, it will be. Once I finish this chapter, I'm gonna drop to the floor and do a few. So, yeah. Oh, and also... Excuse me, my goodness. I need to add you and purple into the drawing for the Amazon giveaway. So I will do that as well. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. That's right. A drawing, you say? That's right. I'm giving away an Amazon gift card. So you're in it. You're in it to win it. Hi, Mama House Gaming. And Zarias, thank you for the moan. I think we only have... 2.5 pages, give or take. So don't let me forget to add your names. And then I'll do some push-ups. Sorry, just been lurking. No need to be sorry. Lurk as much as you want. Need I be present to win? No. And the drawing's not happening today. It's a long haul kind of drawing. So I've got my Atkinson. Let's see if I can do this without dropping all the entries. I've got my Atkinson hat here. And I've got some entries inside. So it'll be a little bit. Once we get to 50 subs, I'm doing the giveaway. So no one needs to be present. I will hunt you down. Dead or alive, you're getting an Amazon gift card. Whoever it is that wins. Manji, thank you so much.
Oh, Daddy.
Whoa. Thank you for subscribing, even though you're like brand new to the channel. Whoa. What is happening? Okay. You know what? I think I need to write names now because I'm going to forget. Zarias, thank you for your resub. That is super kind of you. My goodness. Y'all just need to calm calm down a little bit, okay? It's my first book reading stream of the year. Just chill out. All right, we got purple. I can write. What is going on? Purple, thank you for gifting us. Thank you for gifting a sub to Surf. Purple. So you get to go in twice, Purple. Because that's how that works. My goodness. Y'all need to quit. Purple. I haven't even finished the first chapter of the book. It's too late. You're already in the hat. If you win, you can give it to someone. How about that? All right. Stunt Papa. Yo. You guys, calm down. Thank you, Red. Subscribing at 14 months. That's insane. I need to get Zarias in here. Y'all just quit. Okay, Zarias, got you. I got you. And we need Red. Red Thorn. Lots of push-ups. Yeah. Holy crap. 77. Okay. Hey. Did I get everybody? Red. Purple. Zarias. Manji. Manji, go. Gotcha. You're in the hat. You're in the hat. Force a hydrate. That's a great idea. I'm going to go with the hot chocolate, though. Probably not the best idea, but... Ah, that's hot. Ooh. Delicious. Okay, let me finish the chapter. Let me finish the chapter, and then I will keep Iowa flat. Or at least this part of Iowa. It's not all flat, so. Right, so we got this weird cowboy guy sitting in his office and not sure who it is yet. How did you get to my office and what would you like? How? Easy. Your secretary was not at her desk. I just walked in. What would I like? Simply nothing. I'm just here to let you know that I'm going to buy a few houses in Vienna and Spain. Why would that concern me? After letting out a few chuckles, I'm going to use the company's account. I travel a lot, and it would be nice to be able to spend some time in a nice place. Donnie reached out to his phone. He was about to text Rachel to call security. There's no need for that, the man said calmly.
We'll now begin the push-up section. Ready? Begin. Down.
Oh boy. Alright, so now it's 87 push-ups. Fantastic. That's my replacement for the 10 push-ups. Yes, didn't know it would make a noise. Yeah, I wanted to make it a sound alert instead of just a thing on the screen saying that I needed to do 10 more push-ups. 87, this is cool. There is no need for that, said the man calmly. No need for what? Calling security. I won't take much of your time. I will leave in 2 minutes. I just need to ask you the right question. What? Amlas. Cool. I'm at 3 months. Thank you so much. You're actually at 4, it looks like. Thank you so much, Amlas. Y'all... This is too much. You're in the drawing. Thank you for the hype train, guys. That was ridiculous. Why am I holding the pen? I'm gonna make a mess. 92. Okay. I really need to get this chapter finished. Okay. That's fine. I just need to ask you the right question, said the man with his muffled voice. Okay. Well, what is your name? Asked Donnie as he started to lose his patience. Call me Mike. But that's still not the right question. Okay. Who the hell are you? Now we're getting somewhere. You will know in time. For now, don't panic. You will learn about that purchase. Don't do anything irrational. It will happen, said Mike as he got up. He took off his hat and put it on his chest, which showed his curly hair. I must admit, in all your trials, you've been nothing short of being brilliant. Then he turned around and started walking toward the door that led to Rachel's office on the way out. You've come to my trials? Asked Donnie as he started to lose his temper. Hey! Are you stalking me or something? What the hell do you want, and who are you? Keep up the good work, Donnie boy, he said with a smile as he shut the door behind him. And that concludes chapter 1, which means it's push-up time. Alright, so we've got Donnie, who's a big shot lawyer, hasn't lost a case, just picked up a brand new one, and some stranger named Mike, Cowboy Mike, is, well, a mystery. Okay. I'm gonna start some push-ups. If you think I'm getting to 92 right now, you're living in somebody else's world. But we're gonna start. Okay. All right.
Is it hot in here? Are you hot? I mean, you are hot. I mean...
More! More!
Okay. Thank you so much. All right.
Oh yeah. Look at that barrel chest and those turgid biceps.
You mean the gun show? That's right. Okay. Let's do some math. We're down to 57? Yeah. I think. all goobers. That's not nice. Whew. Good job, Red. Should probably drink some water after that one. All right, let's get resituated. Why did I wear pajama pants? Why am I not in shorts? That was a terrible decision. Time for my own reading stream. Nice. Say hello to the boys. Okay. As you probably guessed, after chapter 1 comes chapter 2, which is what we're about to start. Uh-oh. I just noticed something. I don't know if our author is lurking or not, but I just noticed a small, tiny little issue. Nothing that concerns the story, but in the table of contents, it says chapter 2 starts on page 25 when it actually starts on page 26. So, I want to double check if the person that said that was coming is actually coming. Just gonna send them a quick message. Okay. When I find little things like these, I like to let the author know because it's something that they usually want to fix. So yeah. Like I said, it's not a huge issue. It's a quick alteration in the documents, re-uploading it, and then you're done. But if no one tells you, you don't know. So just sent a quick message. We'll see. All right. In the meantime, chapter 2 is titled Charlie's Bar. And just like before, we have a little picture here. No idea where that bar is, but it looks like there's a lot of different drink options. That's for sure. All right. Charlie's Bar, Chapter 2. Rachel! Rachel! Yelled Donnie as he slapped his hand on the desk. Rachel opened the sliding door and came in, holding a bunch of paper. It looked like she just grabbed them in a hurry. She didn't have time to fit them in a stack form like she normally does. Yes, sir? She asked in a quiet voice. She had never heard him yell before. What the fuck? Where, not what, have you been? And why aren't you at your desk? Some lunatic managed to walk into my office uninvited. Some eccentric man wearing a cowboy outfit. He was talking crazy about buying shit overseas with company money. Is that what's happening in my office these days? People can just walk in? I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson. I was just getting ready to get all the documents for today's closing. Taken aback by the offensive tone, Rachel said with a defensive one. Okay. Whatever. Just get things ready. Let's start the day. He then picked up his phone and dialed his mother's number. The rings were too long to wait, and he kept whispering, come on, until his mother answered. Hey, doll.
Mom, does the name Mike ring a bell? Some cowboy-looking guy?" he asked with a shaky voice. "Dear, what are you talking about? Are you okay?" "I'm fine." "Did Dad have a son? A different family or something?" "Dawn, your voice is trembling. I'm worried. Son, what are you talking about?" "Mom, just answer my question. Does Dad have another son?" "No, of course not. You know your dad. He was always busy with work. He didn't even have time for his own family, let alone start a second one." "Okay. I'm sorry. I just had a stranger here. He said he was going to use the company's money to buy property. I was trying to put two and two together. I mean, nobody should have access to the company's account except for the two of us. I'm sorry. I gotta go to court now. I'll talk to you later." "Okay, dear. Focus on work. The Jackson name should stay as it's always been. Just remember, it is your name, and you must look after it. Don't worry about some trivial things. I bet it's just some crazy person sent by someone who hates you. Another lawyer, maybe, or some competing company. Who knows? Brush it off your shoulder and concentrate on today's case. I love you." "I love you, Mom. Talk to you later." All right, then. He grabbed his briefcase and walked out of the office. The whole team was waiting for him, and they all walked outside. 2 SUVs were waiting with their drivers. The team consisted of 6 lawyers. 3 got in each car. Donnie felt the phone vibrating. He got it out and saw a text from Rachel. "I'm sorry. Am I still seeing you tonight?" He started texting back while listening to the whole team discussing aspects of the case. Before he had time to text back, he got a second text from Rachel. "By the way, guess who just walked back in and signed the paper? How did you know?" He had a brief, subtle smile on his face as he texted back. "I just used my body language. She needed a pen to sign. I was fiddling with a pen the whole time we were talking." Subliminal unconscious messages. Nice. 15 minutes passed quickly, and both cars pulled up in the courtyard. Donnie quickly started the camera on his phone to make sure nothing had changed since the last he looked at himself in the mirror. The sound of the cameras filled the air as the team got out of the cars. Journalists bombarded them with questions as they walked into the courtroom. Donnie strutted into the courthouse, his eyes scanning the room with a sense of arrogance and entitlement. He was a lawyer, and this was his domain. As he looked around, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride in the familiar surroundings. The rows of benches, the judge's podium, the witness stand. They were all like a second home to him. He strutted down the aisle, his briefcase in hand, nodding and waving dismissively to people as he passed with a quick raise of his hand. He was the top dog in this place, and everyone knew it. As he approached the defense table, he couldn't help but smirk at the sight of his opponent. The other lawyer was young and inexperienced, and Donnie knew that he was going to wipe the floor with him. He took his seat, resting his briefcase on the table in front of him. He was ready for battle, and he knew that he was going to come out on top. With a smug smile, Donnie leaned back in his chair and waited for the proceedings to begin. He was the master of this court, and he was going to show everyone just how good he was. Donnie started his closing statement.
He was always in the role, memorizing every single line without a single page in front of him. When he was in the zone, he was in the zone. Nothing was going to distract him from saying the words he needed to say to convince the jury of the evidence to find in favor of his client. He knew when to look at the jurors, when to look away from them, and when to look at his client. Within that head turn, he froze. It's that chilling feeling down his spine again. His heart started to pound, and he couldn't gasp a breath as if he saw a ghost. He caught sight of the cowboy hat. That man was sitting in the back of the courtroom, watching his closing argument. Mike looked at him and smiled. "Mr. Jackson, continue, please," the judge said. "Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry." He finally managed to compose himself and finished his statement, but now he lost his flow of thought. He got back to his chair and tried to fight the urge to look back, but failed. He finally turned around, and the cowboy hat was gone. He finished the day with half a brain. This man was starting to get to him. So far, he's not broken any law. All he did was make a friendly visit to his office, although uninvited. That was because Rachel was not at her desk. This is the second time, again, without breaking any laws. He was just sitting in a courtroom hearing. He made a strong fist. He hated the control this man had over his mind. He's usually the one in control. He felt like punching him the next time the man showed up. If he got in trouble, so be it. He knew the paths and which ones to follow to get out of trouble, although he had never been the violent type in his entire life. He remembered panicking when he was a kid when his parents argued. He remembered hiding under his bed for hours to avoid the monster. The holidays were the worst time. His father used to drink a lot on social occasions. He used to be happy when people were around. Once they left, the story was different. His mother used to shout and yell the way he was behaving in front of other people because he wasn't following the classy protocols. What was worse was when his father shouted back. Donnie would hide for hours until his mother found him. "Stay focused," he kept whispering to himself after 8 long hours of jury deliberation. The voice of Emily brought him back to earth. The gods of guilt have spoken. Everybody was standing in court. He could hear parts of the sentences being spoken, hearing the judge's scattered words. "Have you reached a verdict?" The defendant, "Not guilty." Everybody started hugging. Another big case for the office portfolio and Donnie's big resume. It could only mean good things. Donnie gave everyone the smile that he usually gave after each win. The confident smile, as if he was telling them, "I had this." But even Donnie couldn't resist the happiness of hugging everybody. He could see him again. Amongst all the people standing, that hat was heading toward the door. He was just leaving the courtroom. "I'll be right back." He cut the hug short, pushed Emily away, and ran to the door. He opened the door and looked in both directions twice. The corridor was full of people who had just left the courtroom, but that hat was gone. It was a tradition for the staff to grab a drink after every big win. The whole team went to Charlie's bar. The bar was a desolate, shadowy place, with a few scattered chairs and tables dotted throughout the dimly lit room. It was almost always empty, save for a few lonely souls nursing their drinks in the corners. The walls were adorned with peeling wallpaper and fading posters. and the floor was sticky with remnants of spilled drinks. The air was thick with stale alcohol, and the only sound of the faint hum of the neon sign outside. Despite its gloomy atmosphere, the bar held a certain allure for the team as they discussed the win and shared funny moments of the trial. For those who found themselves drawn to the bar's lonely charms, it was a place of solace and refuge. A place where they could forget their cares and be left alone with their thoughts. It felt like it was designed for the team. They arrived at various times. Rachel was always the first to arrive due to the proximity of the bar to the firm's building. She usually ordered drinks for everybody before they arrived, except Donnie. He liked to order his drink himself. He liked the control even when it came to his drink. After arriving back at the office, they all took their cars and headed to the bar. Donnie was always the last to arrive. He didn't like to wait on others. "Yo, here. I saved your seat," Rachel called out to Donnie, pointing out the stool next to her with the beer bottle she was holding. Donnie sat down and gave everyone his usual classy smile. Richard, the bartender, was busy arranging glasses behind the bar, although there were no people in the bar except for the usual 7 and a couple of people sitting at one of the tables. "Manhattan. Rich, easy on the whiskey," Donnie said as he checked his sleeves to make sure there were no creases on them. "Easy on the whiskey? That's new. You love your whiskey," said Rachel as she was looking at her bottle, trying to read the fine print written on them. He quietly replied as he got his mouth close to her ear. "I've had a strange day. Very strange. Hey, who has access to the company's accounts other than me and my mom?" "Technically nobody. I can authorize checks if that's what you mean, but your dad only gave you and your mom access to the online account." "Oh, well, that's a relief," as he gave a big sigh. He kept sipping on his drink as he listened to the remarks as the team was making about the case. The ironic moment that happened during the trial, bursting into laughs now and then as Richard kept the drinks going. After the third Manhattan Donnie had, his laughs became louder, and he leaned toward Rachel and whispered, "The man that was in the office. I think he was my brother." She nearly choked on her drink. Some came out of her nose. "You have a brother? You have a brother?" Sally overheard Rachel, and they all turned toward Donnie. "It's not a big deal. The man showed up in my office. He just talked about some strange things and then left. Now that I think about it, he even kind of looked like my father a little bit." "What was your dad like, Donnie?" David asked with a friendly smile on his face. "What?" He followed up with a hand gesture when he noticed everyone was looking at him. "He doesn't like talking about his dad, David," said Rachel as she was defending Donnie. "No, it's okay. We've only been working together for a month, so he doesn't know the background. Well, he disappeared when I was 10. On Halloween he was there, and suddenly he wasn't. Anyway, enough about your dad. Why didn't you call security?" Rachel asked as she was wiping the drips that came out of her nose. "There was no time to call anybody. I was taken by surprise. I was trying to make sense of what he was saying," he said as his facial expression started to show sadness. He took another sip of his drink. He seemed what?" Rachel asked as she was more intrigued to hear more. "I don't know. I felt like he was in control. He knew what my next step was going to be. I felt like I was paralyzed. Anyway, It's getting late. I better get going. Rich, put all the drinks on my tab. I can call your mom and tell you're with us, Mark said in a serious tone. He was trying to be genuine in his offer. It was well known that Donnie's mother was extremely strict when it came to business and her son. Donnie did not make any comment. He just smiled, turned back, and walked to the door. The alcohol made him more relaxed, but too drunk to need a ride. Not too drunk to need a ride. As the bar door closed behind him, he ran back. "Rachel! Mark!" he yelled. "Come here right now!" Without thinking, the whole lot rushed toward him. "That's him! That's the man I was telling you about. He's there." As they all rushed out, the street was eerily quiet. The only sound was the soft whisper of the wind as it rustled through the leaves of the trees. The streetlights cast a soft glow on the pavement, but there was no one in sight. It was as if the world had stopped turning, and the only thing that remained was the empty silence of the night. The houses loomed on either side of the street, their windows dark and foreboding. The cars parked along the curb seemed abandoned, as if their owners had vanished into thin air. Everything was still, as if frozen in time, and the only movement was the gentle swaying of the trees in the wind. It was a strange and unsettling feeling, being alone on the silent street. It was as if the world had turned its back on this place, leaving it to fade into obscurity. Welcome back, Stunt Papa. Donnie, you need to get some rest. Let me take you home, Rachel said as she walked back to grab her purse. I swear, he was right there, Donnie replied, then paused for a second and turned to Rachel. I'm fine. I'm going. I'll see you in the morning. He got in his car, but his eyes kept looking in all directions. Why would a random stranger appear in his life all of a sudden? What kind of game was this? He got his phone out and texted Rachel. I'll see you in the penthouse. I need you. Within seconds, he got a reply. I'll be there. Please drive safely. I love you. And that is the end of chapter 2. Well then. Makes it seem like this mystery cowboy guy is some sort of ghost, when he's not. Someone is going to release some frustration? Possibly. Although I'm told on the Spiceometer, this book is only a 2 out of 10. So we'll see. This hot chocolate, though, is a solid 7 out of 10. This puzzle. All right, I didn't put that book back on my screen. I should take a look at that. How y'all doing? Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. It's 400 pieces, so it's not the worst. It's not the easiest, but it's definitely less pieces than we've done in the past. There's a lot of the same color, which is why I chose 400 and not like 5 or 600. You guys can do it. You're on mobile. Can't really help. Yep. Doing this kind of puzzle, well, probably any puzzle on mobile would be torture. So, totes get that. Absolutely. What do we got going on here? I'll have to check that later. I hate how Discord gets all, like, shortened and cut off when you're streaming. You have it open on your iPad? That's not bad. As long as it's a decent size, you should be alright. Okay. I can tell you right now, I am taking a nice hot bath after I read. Is your kid easy to go to sleep? Yeah, for the most part. Not too bad. How is the back? It's a little sore. Not gonna lie, but I'm doing okay. Let's see if this page count or page lineup is still off. Chapter 3 says it's on page 41. Table of contents says page 39, so yes, it's a bit off. A bath sounds so fire now that you mention it. I know. I have a bath bomb that I'm going to use. Some lavender bubble bath to help get that calming scent. It's going to be great. The only downside is I am just shy of 6 foot, and the bath is a perfect width. It's a what's called a garden tub style bath, so it's nice and wide, but it is not long enough at all. So, you had an EV bath bomb? What is that? What's an EV bath bomb? Mine are just from a local grocery store, but they're like really good. They're like $5 a piece kind of thing. Stop, I'm really jelly. I'm sorry. Oh, the Pokemon. I was like... yeah, I got a question about something you mentioned in December. Sure. Ask away. We'll answer that, and then we'll get cracking on chapter 3. Did everything go through if you guys get a house? So where we're at right now is that it is happening, but not until probably March, April timeframe. We won't, or I should say, we won't be able to officially do anything until around that time. But it will happen. It's just a matter of when. So that's the good news. So we're starting to look again. Not too closely, because there's still a lot of time between now and when the funds will be available. But so when the funds are actually available, that's when we'll get super serious real quick. So we are going through rooms and downsizing stuff. You know, getting rid of things that we know we don't need. Giving stuff away, selling a few things, throwing stuff out. You know, cleaning up the place so that when it's time for the movers to come in, they don't charge us more than they have to. Tig, I'm glad you're here, but why are you here? Oh, do you guys like my t-shirt, by the way? It's new. Got it for Christmas. Just beat it. Tig, you're not sleeping. Why aren't you sleeping, Tig? For those of you that like to watch streams in the morning, my friend Tig is from the UK. And she puts on a wonderful stream. She's an amazing person. Happy to know her as a friend. So, go check out her channel. You won't be disappointed. You woke up icky? Oh, I'm sorry. Is your tummy still troubling you? Getting that nauseous feeling? Wish I could make it better. But I can read to you. We're going to do one more chapter. And then call it a night. So with that in mind, sit back, relax, enjoy one more chapter of Honest Deceit Part 1. And we'll see what happens in Chapter 3. And again, just like the other chapters, we have a little picture here. Penthouse view kind of thing. Rachel, why? The luxurious penthouse was a sight to behold. Located at the top of a towering skyscraper, it offered breathtaking views of the city below. The interior was equally impressive, with gleaming marble floors and high, soaring ceilings. The living room was spacious and grand, with floor-to-ceiling windows that allowed the sunlight to flood in. The furniture was elegant and modern, with plush sofas and armchairs arranged around a fireplace. The kitchen was a chef's dream. My watch is trying to listen to me. The kitchen was a chef's dream, with the state-of-the-art appliances and gleaming countertops. A long island in the center of the room provided ample space for food prep and entertaining. The bedroom was a tranquil retreat with a plush king-size bed with a fireplace for cozy nights in. The ensuite bathroom was spa-like, with a deep, soaking tub and a separate glass-enclosed shower. Every detail of the penthouse had been thoughtfully designed, from the sweeping city views of the top-of-the-line finishes and fixtures. It was the ultimate in luxury and sophistication, and anyone who had the privilege of calling it home was truly lucky. And insanely rich, probably. The luxurious bed and dim sunlight barely coming through the dark curtains did not help Donnie and Rachel take a longer time in bed. The cuddle was interrupted by the constant phone ringing until Donnie picked it up. He immediately sat up in bed while looking at his phone. He gestured to Rachel, who could barely open her eyes, to be quiet. Good morning, Mom. Donnie, where have you been? I've been calling for hours. Did you spend the night in the penthouse? Yes. Sorry, Mom. It was a long night. We just had a few drinks at Charlie's. It was an easier drive from there. Donnie was still rubbing his eyes, trying to wake up. I don't know what you find in that place. That Wynn deserved a classy restaurant with wine and a nice dinner. I hope you were still wearing your tie. Mom, I was wearing my tie. Let me wake up and I will call you back. Okay, doll. Although I am mad at you. I needed to hear you won the case from you, not from Rachel. Anyway, don't forget dinner tonight with the Gellers. Okay, love you. I'll talk to you later. As he hung up, he could feel Rachel's arm stretching over his waist. How's she? Then, sarcastically added, Did she ask about me? Rachel, please don't start. I still have a headache. She pulled her arm and turned in the other direction. Now she was wide awake, looking at the bedside table on her side, wishing there was a picture of them together with a kid. she picked up her phone and started scrolling up and down to check her messages. Look, Rachel, I am sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. Let me just think about the best way to do this. Donnie, Rachel replied while still looking at her phone. I'm here almost every night. We've been doing this for nearly 2 years and nobody knows about me. I am sick and tired of living in the shadow. I can't even say I love you out loud. She threw her phone back on the bedside table and sat up. What is the plan? I must know where this is going. It only takes you a few minutes to plan and solve cases other lawyers won't even think about taking. Are you serious about me? Of course I am. Well then, tell me what you're thinking. I need to know where I stand. Rachel, we talked about this. You know my mother. She can be difficult sometimes. Rachel sat up in bed next to him, looked down, and started rubbing her hands together. Listen, Donnie, I know I come from a middle-class family. I know our backgrounds are different. I didn't finish college or drive a $200,000 car. I know all of this. But I also know that I love you. Seriously, I'm in love with you. I don't care about your money. You can be a beggar sitting on the sidewalk and that wouldn't change a thing. I'm in love with you too, but... he said while looking down. Your mom, isn't it? Donnie, you're not a child. I passionately hate this control she has over you. Seriously, you're an adult. You're independent. And you're the most intelligent person I've met in my entire life. It's not about control, Rachel. But you don't know what my mother has done since my father disappeared. She's been everything. I admit she can be overprotective sometimes, but she has sacrificed everything to look out for and after me. Rachel got up and wrapped the bedsheet around her naked body, knowing that the argument was going nowhere. It was not the first time this conversation took place. I'm making coffee. You want some? She asked as she kept walking out of the room. Rachel had a key to the penthouse, and she knew the code to the security system. She and Donnie spent every weekend together. His mother did not approve of any relationship Donnie had unless it met certain criteria. Therefore, he had little interaction with girls when he was in high school. When he started his law company, a friend recommended Rachel as a secretary. The second Donnie laid eyes on her at his interview, he felt something different. It was stronger than his tussle to meet his mother's satisfaction in finding that perfect person. He immediately ended the meeting and took her out for lunch. They instantly connected and talked about personal issues. They felt they'd known each other for a long time. He told her how his parents argued and were never happy. He told her about his sister who he hadn't seen in years. He told her about his father, who disappeared overnight without a trace on Halloween Day when he was only 10 years old. She told him about her sick mother, who she'd been taking care of and had to drop out of school because of that. She told him about her dead father and how she attached to him. She grappled with life due to financial reasons, and that job was a wonderful opportunity for her. A few months later, Rachel had access to not only his lawyering company, but the whole family's assets. She was a smart 24-year-old skinny girl with brown hair and fair skin. She didn't have to hear the same thing twice. She was a fast learner, and although she was not known to Catherine as Donnie's lover, She was known to her as a reliable organizer that could be trusted with any family business related issue. Her responsibilities bred. Not a single important piece of paper that needed to be signed went to the targeted person without coming through Rachel's desk first. As the weeks and months went by, her passion for Donnie grew bigger. Donnie gave her a sense of security when he offered her the job, a feeling of existence when he allocated all those responsibilities to her. Most of all, he gave her time. He filled the gap in her life with his existence. They started spending the weekends in the company of one another. Catherine, his mother, had lofty expectations of the person that Donnie was going to end up with. She had to be well educated, from a well-known family, and of wealth. All those conditions were lacking when it came to Rachel. Other than being gorgeous and intelligent, she had nothing more to offer. Therefore, the relationship remained undisclosed. Donnie finally got out of bed. He found his pants that were thrown on the floor next to the bed and put them on. He followed Rachel to the kitchen where she was waiting for the cup to fill up. She was still wrapped in the bedsheet except for her shoulders. He stood behind her and gently kissed her shoulder and moved to her neck. "You know I love you," he whispered in her ear. "I know, but that's not the point. This, us, will never happen. I just needed to know." She then walked off and sat on the sofa holding the cup with one hand and holding the sheet around her with the other. She started sipping on the coffee. "What are we doing tonight?" she asked in a quiet voice. "I have to go to my mom's. She invited the Gellers for dinner and wanted me to be there." "Sandy Geller, the princess," she said sarcastically. "She'd be a suitable wife for you. I'm sure your mom would approve. She'd be the queen sitting on her throne, and Sandy would be her princess." She continued in a sarcastic tone, then whispered, "Fucking bitch." "Don't cross the line, Rachel. That's my mother you're talking about." "Cross the line? Cross the fucking line? I'm not the one crossing the line here, Donnie. I'm not the one spending the night with someone while planning on seeing someone else later the same day." Then she slapped the coffee cup on the coffee table, where half of it spilled. "I'm out of here," she yelled as she stormed back to the bedroom to put her clothes on. "Oh, Rachel, please," exclaimed Donnie. A few minutes later, she came out of the room fully dressed, her eyes glazing with anger, putting her earrings back on. "You know what? I hope you have a brother. I hope that someone messes up your life. Maybe you will understand what it's like to play with others and leave them out to dry." Donnie was standing in shock, not knowing what to say. That was not the first argument they had, but it's always been a one-sided argument. He always kept quiet when her voice had a high volume. He escaped in his mind and hid under the bed. It always brought back bad memories of when his parents argued. Seething with rage, her heels clacking against the marble floor, she walked toward the door. The alarm of the front door brought him back to earth. He made his cup of coffee and went back to bed. As he sat down, a few minutes passed by. Then he heard the front door opening and shutting, this time in a much gentler way. "Rachel?" He yelled, but nobody answered. She was the only one with a key. She was the only one who knew the code, and no one would be able to get in without having the combination of the two. He got up and started walking slowly to the living room holding his cup of coffee. Hello? Who's there? Donnie asked, tentatively. He glanced at the front door, which was closed. He looked at the coffee table where the coffee was still spilled, and before he had a chance to check the rest of the room, he received a big thrust from behind. He lost control and fell on the coffee table. His cup was now on the floor. He turned around and saw Mike standing there. "Sit," Mike said with a muffled voice. "What the fuck? How did you get in here?" He tried to get up and run to the bedroom to get his phone, but Mike grabbed him by the shoulders and pushed him onto the sofa. "I said, sit." As Donnie fell back, Mike revealed his holster and pulled a gun. "Don't do anything stupid, Donnie." "How did you get in here? Did Rachel let you in?" "So what's this all about?" "It's about time you gave." "Gave? Fucking what? You..." And before Donnie could finish his sentence, Mike hit him with the handle of his gun on his face. He nearly lost consciousness. "I'm not playing here, Donnie boy," Mike said in a threatening voice. "You're going to listen and do what I tell you to do." Donnie knew this was no joke. He remained seated on the sofa, apprehensive about what was going to happen next. "I need you to open your laptop and transfer $1 million to a charity for lung cancer," said Mike. "Are you crazy? No bank would approve that transfer online." "In cryptocurrency. This is the information you'll need." He handed him a small piece of paper with the cryptocurrency account. Donnie kept looking at Mike, not believing what he was hearing. With a gun pointed at his head, he couldn't do anything but comply. "Do it for the kids, Mike. Do it for the children." He grabbed his laptop and logged into his account. He transferred that amount, but he kept thinking that Rachel was behind all of this. She was the one who would know he had a cryptocurrency account. She would be the one to let him in. It was a secure building. Without knowing the code and having a key to the penthouse, there was no way anybody could get in. "Okay, done. Now..." Before he was able to finish the sentence, he received another blow. A punch. Multiple punches on his face and chest, over and over again. His head hit the coffee table multiple times, his vision started to become blurry, and he became numb to the pain from the kicks he received as he was lying on the floor. All he could see was the carpet, with blood drops scattered all over it. Then it moved away as Mike pulled him up and put him down with another blow time and again. Then it all stopped. He could barely lift his head. Mike was gone. He touched the back of his head where it hurt the most and looked at his hand, which was full of blood. He could taste the blood that was coming out of his nose. He gathered all his strength, got up and started walking to the bedroom where his phone was. He noticed his broken laptop. The coffee table was broken in many places. He grabbed onto the furniture and left bloodstains on everything he touched. He shuffled his feet as he was walking. The rooms were spinning and the journey to the bedroom seemed impossible. Before he made it to his bed, he collapsed on the floor. This is why you need an Apple Watch, because if you fall, there's a setting on here that can alert 911, and then they'll come. Just saying. It's a thing. technology. He continued to crawl and finally managed to grab the bedside table and pull himself up. The sight of his phone felt like a lifeline. He tried to dial a number, but the smudge of blood made it impossible. Hey Siri, call Rachel. Oh, nope. My phone literally started calling someone. Whoops. After a few rings, it went to voicemail. And with a sad and disappointed voice, he left a voice message. Rachel. Why? Hey, call Mom. I can't say the name out loud, it's gonna use my phone. After a few rings, he heard her voice. Hey, doll. Mom, I am Donnie? Donnie? And that's the end. I do know a Rachel. Yes, I do. And by the end, I mean the end of the chapter. Hopefully she doesn't call back. So who is Mike? He's this very suspicious... what's the right terminology here? This new character that came into his office early in the book and basically said, I'm gonna do all this stuff with the company money. And, you know, Donnie doesn't know who he is. Thinks maybe it's a brother he didn't know about or something like that. But besides that, he doesn't have a clue. That would be part of the mystery in this mystery book. So, just some cowboy. We don't know. But there you have it. That's the first 3 chapters. So, chapter 4 starts on page 57. Let's see. Table of Contents says it starts on page 53. So that's not correct either. So this is just getting worse and worse as we go. Having that compound effect, as you would call it. Yeah. So, I'm gonna have to let them know. Does he work for the business? I don't think so. Have a good night, everyone. Time to go do things. Thank you, Mama House Gaming, for being here. I appreciate it. The gap is getting bigger. Yes. Yes, it is. That is a problem. So, as much as I appreciate there is a table of contents, it is not helpful. Other than to know the chapters. You know, the title. You're still here. Glad you're still here. Wow, that is steamy hot. We can turn off the warmer now, I think. Do we know this author? Are they around? So this book is a bit interesting. So I've been in conversation with the person that has done the editing for this book, not the author themselves, which is a bit unusual, but it's fine. I've been told and assured many times that the author knows about me and what I'm doing, and that I have permission to read the book. The editor said that she would be here, but let me take a peek. I don't know if she is or not. If she is, she hasn't said anything yet. But I definitely need to let her know that the table of contents isn't lining up, because that's something that's probably going to need to be fixed. She's a ghost, just like Mike. Why would you need a table of contents for a chapter book? Well, it's nice. I like them. I mean, I haven't always added them myself. Sometimes it's nice to have a mystery to it, but it's nice to know, okay, the next chapter is X number of pages. I can fit that in before I need to leave and go do this thing. You know, it gives you an idea of how long it might take or something. Which is really helpful for me in stream, because if I'm like, ooh, should we read the next chapter? You know, how long is it? Oh, it's 25 pages. Might not have time for that. Oh, it's 10 pages. We got time for that. You know, that sort of thing. For example, chapter 4 is approximately 19 pages according to this, but the page numbers are off, so I don't know for sure. I'm assuming it's 19 pages. It's just that the page that it starts on is wrong. So we don't have time to do chapter 4 tonight, but that's where we'll start next time. So yeah, it's nice to know. But again, even in books I've written, I haven't always done that, so it's not unusual to not have it. But again, if you want to check out this author and his other books, he has a few other books in the market, feel free to do so. Like I said, I'll reach out to the lady that I've been conversing with about this book, let them know what I've learned. That way they can choose to fix it or not. But yeah, first 3 chapters in the bag. So yeah, not bad, not bad. As I said before, there's 19 chapters in total. So we'll see how it goes. Thank you all for being here tonight. I appreciate it greatly. I really, really do. The outpouring of the resubscribes and the gifts for other people has blessed me beyond belief. Everyone that did that is in the hat for the drawing. So keep your eyes peeled and your ears open for that one. We still got a little bit to go before we do it, but we'll get there eventually. Now, Tig, go to sleep, please. Make your tummy feel better. Drink a Sprite, ginger ale, whatever you gotta do. Just settle the tummy. Stump Papa was glad to be here. Enjoy that nightly banana. No, I have a banana in the morning, okay? With milk. You know this. I've missed reading too, Purple. It was great to, you know, take a break over the holiday and play a game, but reading is what I enjoy the most. So, and our friend Kay would have been here tonight, but she started a new job. Tonight was her night of training, so she wasn't able to be here, but she's going to watch the video. And her book, one of her books, is coming up after this one, Obsidian's Fall. So, that'll be our next book in queue. My bad, I forgot about your English breakfast milk. Yes, get it right. Jeez. Unbelievable. Alright, let's take a look and see who we have online. Who haven't we raided in a while? Mr. Carrington's on, playing Dead by Daylight. Gentle Fox is on, of course, doing his reading. Looks like he's reading Tarzan right now. My buddy Ons is doing some Hunt Showdown. Of course. Oh wait, Quincy raided out. Just kidding. She just raided not that long ago. Never mind. Can't raid Quincy. I want to raid somebody. Somebody. Ooh. I guess we'll go to another reading streamer. We'll keep the cozy vibes going, shall we, with Mr. Gentle Fox. He is the leader of our, or not leader, but he is.
Oh my goodness. You kind human being, thank you.
Why is that doubling? I gotta look into that. Rio, thank you for the 500 bits. Been lurking, but you're an amazing human, Atkinson. No, you are, Rio. My goodness, thank you so much. And now I need to edit the push-ups. Again. Push-up. So now we're at 62. Alright. Thank you, Rio. That was super kind of you. I don't know why my alerts are coming in twice.
We'll now begin the push-up section. Ready? Begin.
Yep.
Down.
Great. That's... Thank you, Stunt Papa, for helping. It's like I didn't do any at all, really. I gotta figure... I changed my alerts up. I don't know why they are doubling. And that's driving me nuts. So I gotta look into that. I'll try and do that before Sunday. Because I even have new alerts and they're not popping up either. They're not showing themselves on screen. So I gotta look into that. But anyway, that's my problem to deal with. You know, streamer life, pro streamer. Thank you, Rio. Thank you for the lurk and for the bits. Y'all are too much. Let me make sure I'm spelling this right, because my typing sucks sometimes. Did I see I put 2 S's. You know. Let's try that again. There we go. The raid is up. Thank you again. First stream of the year, brand new book, brand new scenes, brand new rules, which I forgot to explain, but I will explain them again on the next stream, which will be Sunday, 7 Central, where we will continue our Honest Deceit journey. So until then, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and have a fantastic night. Goodbye.